ProjectWise Design Review Basics, Creating Named Versions. This video will show you how to create, manage and visualize versions within the Design Review application. If you can't see the options that I'm using, then you probably don't have the required permissions and will need to speak to your project lead. Let's get into the details. The versions in Design Review are entirely separate to any versioning system that is employed within your ProjectWise system. The versions you will create here are entirely manually controlled. You, as a responsible person for the iModels on your project, get to choose how many versions are created, the name of those versions, and when they are created. If it happens that you're not using any versioning within ProjectWise, this will give you a way to clearly understand design progression. If you are using the workflow rules engine in ProjectWise, or the basic versioning system that exists in ProjectWise Design Integration, then you already have an environment that controls versions, and this should form the basis of your information management process. And therefore the versions in Design Review are secondary, but they're still important within the context of the design review process. Either way, I strongly suggest that you work out a process that suits your organization and your project to ensure that 1, everyone knows what their role is, and 2, the system provides meaningful and useful results. If we look at the iModel we created in a previous video, we can open the Manage Versions page from the ellipsis menu. In here, you'll see that there are no named versions as yet. Click the Changes tab to see all the change events that have occurred since the connection to the design file or files was created. In my example, you can see the changes made when I initially connected this iModel to a design file. This all happened on the 21st of March, earlier on this year. And subsequently, some changes were made on the 16th of May this year. If you have your connection set up to update automatically, you'll probably see more frequent changes recorded in this list. So looking at this, it's logical for me to create a version on the last change of each date. So let's do that. Just click on the flag plus icon on the right hand side of the screen to create a version that includes the change and every change before it. When we create a version, we get to give it a name and a description. So think of versions as milestone events. Perhaps you would create a version before every review meeting so that you can easily see the changes that have occurred since the previous meeting. Now that we've created some versions, let's analyze them and visualize the results within the Design Review interface. In this very simple example, I have 3 cubes. Let's run the version compare and see what's changed. I can see there is one previous version, so I will compare the current version to the previous version. Once the calculation has finished, it shows me in black what is unchanged, in green what is added, in red what is removed, and in blue what is modified. In this case, the only changes that have been detected are modifications. And I can see that each of the 3 cubes has been modified. Here I get a list of the 3 cubes. I can then click the compare icon, which takes me into a split screen mode. The selected element is shown in both windows, each representing a different version. On the left is version 2, on the right is version 1. If there are property changes, I can only see them in the list below because they won't change the geometry. But as it happens in this example, there are no property changes, and instead I have a note here on the left that there are changes in geometry and placement. So let's take a look at these changes in the side-by-side view. As I move the view in one window, it is also moving the other view. This means that we can easily see what has changed. As I rotate zoom and pan around, it's clear to me just by looking that these cubes have been moved and rotated. It's easy to see when there's only 3 blocks. For more complex geometry, I recommend using the Isolate tool and the other view tools to get to what you need to look at and grey out or hide the rest of the geometry.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.